Mrs. C, and today I'm going to be reading the first chapter of the book, The Phantom Tollbooth, by Norton Juster. Alrighty, let's jump in. One of my favorite books, The Phantom Tollbooth. Chapter 1, Milo. There once was a boy named Milo who didn't know what to do with himself. Not just sometimes, but always. When he was at school, he longed to be outside. And when he was outside, he longed to be in. On the way to school, he thought about coming home. And coming home, he thought about going. Wherever he was, he wished that he were someplace else. And when he got there, he wondered, why did he even bother at all? Nothing really interested him, and least of all, things that should have. It seems to me that almost everything is a waste of time, he remarked one day as he walked sadly home from school. I can't see the point in learning to solve useless problems or subtracting turnips from turnips, or knowing where Ethiopia is, or even how to spell February. And since nobody bothered to explain otherwise, he regarded the process of seeking knowledge as the greatest waste of time of all. Oh my gosh. Oh, there he is. He looks kind of sad, doesn't he? He looks bored. I don't know about you guys. I'm getting a little bored being at home, stuck in my house too. Let's see what happens. As Milo and his unhappy thoughts hurried along, he was never very anxious to get where he was going. So he likely was to get there whenever he could. It seemed a great wonder that this world, which was so large, could sometimes feel so small and empty. And worst of all, he thought, there's nothing for me to do, nowhere I care to go to, and hardly anything worth seeing. He punctuated that last thought with a very deep sigh, a deep sigh that the house sparrows singing nearby stopped and rushed home to see their family. Without stopping or looking up, he rushed past the buildings and the busy shops that lined the street, and in a few minutes he reached home, dashed through the lobby, hopped on the elevator, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and off again, he rushed into the apartment door, flopped dejectedly into a chair, and grumbled softly, another lousy afternoon. He looked glumly at all the things he owned. The books that were too much trouble to read. The tools he had never learned to use. The small electric automobile he had not driven in months. Or was it years? And the hundreds of other games and toys and bats and balls and pieces and toys scattered around his room. And there, to one side of the room, just next to the stereo, he noticed something he had certainly never seen before. Who could have possibly left such an enormous package, and such a strange one? For while it was not quite square, it definitely was not round, and for its size it was larger than almost any other package of smaller dimensions he had ever seen. Attached to one side was a bright blue envelope that said simply, "For Milo, who has plenty of time." Of course, if you've ever gotten a surprise package, you can imagine how puzzled and excited Milo was. And if you've never gotten one, pay close attention because someday you might. "I don't think it's my birthday," he puzzled. "And Christmas must be months away, and I haven't been outstandingly good, or even good at all." He had to admit that to himself. "Most probably I won't like it anyways. But since I don't know where it came from, I can't possibly send it back." He thought about it for quite a while, and then he opened the envelope, but just to be polite. "One genuine turnpike Tollbooth," the note said, and then he read on. "Easily assembled at home, and for use by those who have never traveled into lands beyond." "Beyond what?" thought Milo as he continued to read. "This package contains the following items. 1. Genuine turnpike toll booth to be erected according to directions. 3 precautionary signs to be used in a precautionary fashion. Assorted coins for paying tolls. 1 map, up to date and carefully drawn by a master cartographer, depicting natural and man-made features. 1 book of rules and travel regulations, which may not be bent nor broken." And in small letters at the bottom it concluded, "Results are not guaranteed, but if not perfectly satisfied, your wasted time will be refunded." Following the instructions, which told him to cut here, lift there, fold back all the way around, he soon had the toll booth unpacked and set up on its stand. Let's see what it looks like. There it is. Here's a picture of it. Milo fitted the window in place and attached the roof, which extended out on both sides and fastened onto a coin box. It was very much like the toll booths he had seen many, many times on family trips, except, of course, it was much smaller and purple. "What a strange present," he thought to himself. The least they could have done was to send a highway with it, for it's terribly impractical without one. But since as there is time, and there's nothing else to do, nor anything else to play with, he set up 3 signs. "Slow down, approaching toll booth. Please have your fare ready. Have your destination in mind." And he slowly unfolded the map. As the announcement stated, it was a beautiful map with many colors showing various principal roads, main rivers and seas, towns and countries, mountains and valleys, intersections and detours, and sites of outstanding interest, both beautiful and historic. The only trouble was that Milo had never heard of any of the places the map indicated, and even the names sounded most peculiar. "I don't think there is such a real country," he concluded after studying it carefully. Well, it doesn't matter anyways. And he closed his eyes and poked a finger at the map. Dictionopolis, read Milo slowly when he saw where his finger had landed. Oh well, I might as well go there as anywhere. He walked across the room and dusted off his electric car carefully. Then, taking the map and the rule book with him, he hopped in and, for the lack of anything else better to do, drove slowly up to the toll booth. As he deposited his coin and rolled past, he remarked wistfully, I do hope this is an interesting game. Otherwise, the afternoon will be terribly boring. There he is, getting on the car. Going to go to the toll booth. That's the end of chapter 1. Have a good day. I'll see you in chapter 2.